most sensitive topics in parenting is how we discipline kids.
That's right.
Even celebs like Kelly Clarkson and Tashina Arnold have spoken publicly about their stance on spanking.
Timeouts, spanking, and military push-ups have become the tools some parents use to keep the peace at home. We asked Dr. Jaffe, mental health specialist, for his take on these forms of discipline and their effect on kids. And he's joining us today. Hello, Dr. Jaffe.
Hi.
Dr. Jaffe.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about disciplining kids, all right? What's your take on it? You know, I'll put it out on Front Street. When I was a little kid, I did get spanked. Okay, not a lot, but a couple few. No, I'm talking like a belt.
Dang.
I did a couple times.
Dang.
That happened. That happened.
Like
that happened.
A couple of times throughout your childhood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
People have really different definitions of what spanking is.
Yeah.
I mean, for some people, it's just the open hand thing on, on a butt. That's it. And then other people take it all the way to hitting with an object.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I grew up in a culture where people would go snatch stuff off a tree and
a switch.
A switch.
Okay. Is it especially mentally damaging if they make you go pick out the switch? Because I've heard those stories.
I could see why that would be bad. Right? Imagine as the whole time you're walking, you're anxious, knowing what's about to happen.
That's so crazy.
In my family, no hitting. My mom literally one time chased me around with her arm up as if she was gonna hit me, cornered me, and I was so scared by that point. I was done.
Yeah. And so, what's the take in terms, like right now, where we are? What's
the most controversial,
in the culture,
you think?
Well, I mean, spanking or hitting in general is without a doubt the most controversial. I mean, corporal punishment is kind of one of the terms that's been given to it. And I think it goes in levels. So I think people speak less ill of the kind of open hand spanking of the buttocks versus hitting with a switch or hitting with a belt or something like that. Look, culturally, it's pretty clear when you look at surveys that the vast majority of kids have been spanked at some point. As long as you include that really, really wide definition of what that means. So we can have a conversation about what type and at what situations, but something like 80% of children have gotten spanked in their life.
That's what I find interesting, because everybody seems to be against it, and yet everybody doing it.
Once you close the door, you find out amazing things that happen behind closed doors that you never heard about.
Well, here's my question. Is it effective?
You know, I'm not a huge punishment guy in general, but I think it depends a little bit how you do it. You were talking about the method of going and having to get your own instrument, et cetera, and things of that nature. The problem is that what it sets up is this relationship of fear between the parent and the child. Not respect. It's not respect. It's fear.
Agree.
And so there's something to me about, I don't want to have that relationship with my children. I think a lot of parents would rather have the respect than the fear, and that's the problem with spanking.
Yeah, you know what? But here's the thing. I think some people have been raised to believe that their parents, as parents, that their children should fear them.
Well, you make an amazing point, and that is, without a doubt, in research, one of the biggest predictors of whether you're going to hit or spank your kids is whether you got hit or spanked. By the way, in my family, my wife has spanked our kids because she was spanked when she was younger, and I never was. So literally the closest I've gotten to it is when they're not quick enough and they're walking up the stairs, I'll like slap their butt. But I don't even know if that would qualify.
Right.
And I have to say, as a person without kids, I don't know how you people put up with it. Because I've seen how slowly kids move. No, on the slow thing. It drives me batty. Like watch them get out of the car. I'm like, why can't you just get out of the car?
My thing is in the morning, like, you got to go to school. You've got 5 minutes. Why are you walking around just playing with your socks?
So, here's my other question. Do timeouts work?
I love timeouts personally. And timeouts to me are something that's supposed to be used. So instead of punishment, I like withdrawing reward. And the idea is, if you have fun, right? If you're in the middle of an activity that is fun and enjoyable and somebody is acting out of turn, telling them, hey, we're going to take a break. I'm not punishing you per se, but I'm going to take away this engagement. That can be really good. But you got to do it the right way, right?
Yeah,
you can't
what's the right way?
Well, you can't scream at them the whole time. Like, you can't put them in the corner and just berate them.
Right.
The whole idea is this is a moment for them to take a break. Secondly, and this is something we used to do a lot, and I'm starting to do less and less of, try not to send them to their room, because they're probably going to be playing in their room.
Exactly.
Right? There's a lot of stuff in their room they like.
I used to love to get punished and go to my room. I'd be like, that's where all my stuff is.
Yeah, it's like, go to the TV room and be on timeout.
Yeah.
Not a good idea. So those are some of the big ones. And then the other one is don't leave them in there for too long or too little. Right? 30-second timeout is not effective. And if you leave them in there for 30 minutes, an hour, a kid doesn't have that time perspective. They don't understand an hour later that they're still paying a price for something that happened an hour before.
Right.
Dude, how do you feel about like other forms of military, like push-ups and things like that? Those kinds of physical, like, you know, give me 20.
You know, it's funny. I want to love it. Right, because I almost kind of like I want to get my kid in shape or something.
It's like,
I'm just imagining what my 6-year-old would do if I asked him to do a push-up. What would that even look like?
Daddy, what are you talking about?
So maybe at a later age, right, when your kids are either strong enough or able enough to kind of control themselves. But you know, I have a 6 and an 8-year-old, and I talk to a lot of other parents among that range. I just don't think it's a good fit for those ages.
Right. So you're saying that make sure that we're punishing in accordance to, or disciplining, I don't want to say punishing, but disciplining in accordance to the age range.
Yeah, and by the way, that's a great point back to the timeout. Don't put a 2-year-old in timeout.
Yeah, that freaks me out. I've seen people do that, and I'm like, does a 2-year-old have any concept of what's going on?
Yeah.
No idea that what a timeout means. And you know, when you withhold things like that from a 2-year-old, all you're doing is creating distance between the two of you.
That's a good point. That's a great point, because I've seen people do it.
Yeah, they don't understand. They're too wriggly. They can't really get it.
Well, we received a post from Bill Gobin, one of our Frangelistas, who talked about disciplining and co-parenting. And he's a single dad and author of Co-Parenting is Simple. And he's joining us on the phone. Hi, Bill.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. You're a single dad raising 3 daughters. How has that been?
Interesting is the first word that comes to mind, but I don't think it does it justice. I have my oldest daughter is 20, then my middle daughter is almost 9, and then almost 8 is my youngest.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, at one point I had dating in diapers was the dynamic in my house.
Oh, that's a lot and a range.
Yes.
Absolutely.
A range. So what inspired the book?
Well, as a single dad, especially with my youngest daughters, you know, it was inspired by personal experiences. You know, whenever their mom decided to go in another direction, it began the battle of the breakup that so many people they don't have to fight, but they choose to fight.
Right.
And it resulted in 41 appearances in court in almost 8 years. 9 of those I had to represent myself.
Wow.
And all 41 was successful, which is not about success, win or losing. To me, it's about, you know, what are the kids put through?
Yeah.
And so it inspired me to write the book, and I interviewed over 1,000 people in the course of writing this book, and I realized that more people deal with counter-parenting situations than co-parenting.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So when you're raising your kids separately, how have you set that up with your ex?
Well, for me, it's something that sadly we can't communicate on, but I know that she's not a corporal punishment type person, so they don't get spanked, they get the timeout. I'm a bigger fan of timeout with my daughters, because, you know, being women, when you were little, if you heard Dad's voice say, "Girls," you know, you can get a lot of attention just from that.
Yeah.
But for me, timeout's very effective, and it's not just hey, go sit on the couch or go sit in a chair. You know, I like to take away basketball, you know, not just for one day. Let's take it away for the week if it's bad enough. Because a spanking you can get over in 5 to 10 minutes physically.
Right.
But if you're having to lose things that you love to do or you're really looking forward to doing over a course of time, I think it just has better results for me.
Wow. You know what? Thank you so much, Bill. And thank you, Dr. Jaffe. Thank you both. This is a lot of great information. Thank you.
What kind of discipline works for you with your kids? Hit us up, share it with us on social media right away.
Yes.
We want to hear from you.
Me Time with Frangela.